The Houston Rockets are unleashing Russell Westbrook and James Harden in their new ultra small ball lineup when they traded for Robert Covington and got rid of Clint Capella. The Russ-Harden pairing is off to a flying start, and Harden's ISO game really opens up the floor for everybody else. In this breakdown, we're going to show how adding Robert Covington and going ultra small is changing the way the Rockets play, for better or for worse, and we're going to examine if they can actually win an NBA championship. My name is Coach Pyper. If you enjoy these film room breakdowns, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. The table of contents, as well as any resources for this breakdown, can be found below in the description. The game film used is from the Lakers, the Jazz, and the Celtics. I wanted to use those teams as a baseline since they're the three playoff teams that they most recently played, as well as three of the better defensive teams in the NBA. Offensively, the ultra small ball lineup puts the defense in a predicament every possession. Here we can see Anthony Davis is lined up with Russell Westbrook. Davis goes over to double team Harden here. Harden finds Westbrook, who has a downhill driving lane, and Danny Green can't help because he's guarding a shooter in Eric Gordon on the wing. This spacing allows Russell Westbrook the freedom to drive to the rim without being worried about help defense. If help defense does come, he does a good job of locating open shooters, but his primary focus is getting to the rim to score layups. Harden has always been great at attacking the rim, but with even more spacing, he becomes almost unguardable. In this example, we can see the Celtics defense is so concerned about the weak side shooters that Harden's able to drive right down the lane for an easy dunk. One of the ways that the Rockets are attacking is early in transition, and in transition, since they no longer have a rim runner, what this allows for easy spacing and also creates some confusion for the defense. Normally, the other team's big man is trained to get back to the lane first and protect the rim. Against the Rockets, that creates a lot of problems. We can see all three defenders for the Lakers are going to be corralling James Harden. That leaves House open for a three. By the time it catches his hands, McGee's still in the lane, unable to recover to an open shooter. Another example is Cantor here, recovering to the rim and not knowing who he's guarding. This leaves him stranded in the paint and allows Ben McLemore an easy catch and shoot three. A benefit of the Rockets' spacing is decision-making becomes easier. LeBron's matched up with Eric Gordon here. Avery Bradley double team, so LeBron has to help on the drive from Westbrook, leaving Gordon open from three. Another example of this is when the extra pass or one more pass is available, two players collapse on the ball, making easier extra passes. When Harden becomes double team and help comes, it's easier read to see where the help is coming from, especially for corner threes. In this example, we can see Rudy Gobert helps on James Harden, leaving PJ Tucker for an easy open corner three. Most offensive systems are designed to get two players on the ball to create an advantage. Here we can see James Harden's being trapped. The short roll is open. Help comes off the corner, so it's an easy read for a corner three. Teams are going to continue to approach Harden this way by trapping him. He does a good job giving the ball up early, and the Rockets do a good job of finding open shooters. Here we can see an example of PJ Tucker screening low on Marcus Smart, not allowing the help to rotate to a corner three. The Rockets do a good job of making the extra pass and reading where the defense is coming from for easier shooting opportunities. With their automatic spacing, it allows for easier scoring opportunities at the basket as well. How the Rockets try and get two on the ball is by setting ball screens, using the other team's big as the primary defender, especially with Harden. They will ball screen and rescreen as often as possible to create an advantage for themselves. Usually it's going to be a pick and pop with a player driving downhill. So here we can see Covington is going to pop, make an extra pass to Russ, who attacks on a good slot drive. They will also use ball screens to hunt matchups. So in this scenario, put in Conley in a ball screen, going guard to guard, trying to find the opponent's weakest defender. This is something that teams do in the playoffs automatically anyways. Try to matchup hunt. The Rockets have done this for years. The Cavs did it with LeBron. Most good teams in the playoffs are going to try and get the advantage, especially if teams are going to switch. The Rockets will also use James Harden as a ball screener, especially when he's being denied or jammed. Ball screen defense is typically switch, hedge, or drop. When you're denying a player who's setting the ball screen, that kind of throws your ball screen defense out of whack. So this is good action that the Rockets are going to continue to use. Harden will also set ball screens for Russell Westbrook, especially when a big is matched up onto him, knowing that they're probably not going to switch and allow maybe Russ an easier scoring opportunity. Or if they do switch and jump out to deny Harden, Russ knows no help is coming, so he can attack with no worries. So far, the opponents have played their bigs on Westbrook, allowing him to be the screener. He can screen, he can roll, he can pop, but primarily he becomes a ball screener, especially if they're trying to find matchups that they want to have. So in this case, we get Tatum switched on to Harden. Russell Westbrook also will pick and pop and then attack off the pop. So you're going to see Anthony Davis is concerned about Harden, has to recover to Westbrook. That allows him to create an advantage downhill for a layup. Although the Rockets offense is based around Harden and his ISO, you will see them run really creative after timeout sets where they will fake a screen and slip to the rim and try and force the defense to not switch as much or off the ball to be able to hold them in their switching opportunities. Mike D'Antoni is one of my favorite after timeout coaches to watch, and although it may not seem like it, he's actually still one of the more creative geniuses as far as coaching is going after timeouts. So that's definitely something to watch for if you're watching the Rockets. Now let's move on to some of the struggles that the Rockets are having or some potential issues that I could see coming up in the near future or at least the playoffs. And the first one is the team's ability to hide their bigs on Russell Westbrook. Whether it be Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, didn't really matter. The opponents tried to basically hide their bigs on Westbrook, which it did allow their bigs to help off of him, especially when he's spaced out on the floor. One of the areas that I think hurts the Rockets the most is when they can't create an advantage off of simple passing opportunities, whether it's versus a trap or just a driving opportunity where they may be a little bit out of control, or if they look for an advantage but the ball ends up with, maybe not the most optimal player or the defense does a good job containing the drive. The Rockets tend to struggle in those scenarios. By this point, everybody knows that the Rockets are hunting layups and threes and free throws. And, as a coach, some of these threes just aren't as optimal. They're not catch and shoot with a clean look. Some of them are contested. Some of them are just suboptimal when they can't create an advantage. They're kind of forced into late clock ISOs and some pretty poor shot selection. If they can't take advantage of like switching, or if, Harden doesn't have it going, if Russ doesn't have it going, sometimes they settle for what I would consider not to be rhythm looks and can end up looking really, really bad when you're watching them. Another thing that kind of bothered me, but isn't really a serious issue, is their lack of like ball control or their turnovers. Some of them are just unforced and kind of lazy. Not as high IQ basketball plays as I would consider a championship team to have. I'm definitely not concerned with the offensive side of the ball for the Rockets, but I am very concerned with the defensive side. The Rockets are switching everything, but honestly, they're just not doing it at a high enough level, in my opinion. Time will tell. Obviously, we only have a 5-game sample from the time I'm recording this video, but the amount of easy looks that opponents are getting against their defense is really concerning. And ever since 2003, there hasn't been an NBA champion that hasn't had at least a top 10 defense, with most of them in the top 3 or 4 for the defensive points per possession. The Rockets right now currently rank 15th according to Cleaning the Glass, and honestly, that's just not going to get it done. We'll have to look and see with time to see how the last 25 or so games of the season go here and see where they rank, but frankly, they just give up way too many easy looks that I just don't trust their defense. The area of focus that I want to start defensively is guarding the ball one-on-one. Rockets do not have a ton of great on-ball defenders, in my opinion. I think they've really struggled with containing the drive and being able to guard the ball one-on-one, and obviously that does not bode well if you're going to be in a switch-everything defense, because then the offense can pick exactly who they want to go at almost every single time, which we talked about the Rockets offensively doing. So in a playoff scenario, you're going to see teams just pick on the weakest link no matter what, because they know you're going to switch everything. Typically speaking, that will not be Russell Westbrook or James Harden, because those two actually do a pretty solid job when engaged guarding one-on-one, but they will be able to find the weakest link that the Rockets have and be able to go at it repeatedly. An obvious advantage the offenses will have against the Rockets defense will be offensive rebounding. The Rockets, before the trade, ranked 24th in the NBA in offensive rebounding percentage, with their opponents rebounding back 27% of the misses. That number has gone up to 29% since the trade has occurred. However, they weren't rebounding the ball great with a big in the lineup, so going small probably is going to have a minimal impact on their rebounding percentage. The Rockets switch everything has its advantages. Here we're going to see a switch from Rivers and Westbrook on this dribble handoff, and then a switch from Sefolosha and Rivers. Rivers would be caught on Anthony Davis, but Westbrook notices it, and they convert an off-ball switch to take away any easy scoring opportunities. What this does is this forces the offensive team to really kind of play one-on-one. Here we're going to see an off-ball switch from Rivers and Harden, taking away any sort of action advantage that the Celtics might have had. And what it does is it forces Hayward to drive one-on-one on Rivers, ends up missing a pretty weird layup. When a team switches everything like the Rockets, the offense kind of has two choices: attack the mismatch that you want, hunt the mismatch that you want, or be able to get the ball moving, get players moving, and make the defense make a mistake. More often than not, you're going to see the teams, especially in the regular season, that are attacking the Rockets really settle for those one-on-one opportunities and not have a ton of ball movement and player movement. The Rockets also get caught off the ball switching, and they don't do a great job of necessarily communicating that. A lot of times you'll see the help will be just a little too late. Here we can see a similar example of that pin down with Covington and Harden switching. Jaylen Brown's going to notice this and kind of hit behind the switch and have an open look from three. This also happens in this little pin down scenario where two guys get screened by one, leaving LeBron open for a catch and shoot three. Just examples of how a slip can create confusion. Two Rockets are going to go with the roll man, leaving an open 3-point shot for Marcus Smart. Just a little bit of not as connected as you would like to see from a defense that's switching everything. An area the Rockets excel in defensively is turning over their opponents and getting deflections and steals and blocks. They're currently top 10 in turnover percentage. That jumps up to top 5 after the trade. And they do a good job of allowing players off the ball, like Covington, to play free safety. This allows them to speed the game up and also give them easier scoring opportunities in transition. The Rockets' offense will be fine. That is not an area of concern of mine. I think they'll have an elite offense no matter what, especially with their small ball spacing. They do a good job allowing Harden to isolate and allowing players to attack off that isolation. Russell Westbrook getting downhill. That will be fine. No NBA champion since 2003 has finished outside the top 10 in defensive efficiency. The Rockets currently sit at 15. They can certainly improve from now until the end of the season in the playoffs, but I think ultimately their defense will be their demise and not allow them to win a championship. Thank you so much for watching this film room breakdown. If you have any suggestions of what you want to see and what you want to see broken down, please let me know. You can follow me on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you next time.